Good morning, everyone. Brian here with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning I have for us the review of the Atari VCS 2600 original library game, Xenophobe. Now, it is an arcade port, with the arcade cabinet original having been done in 1987 by Valley Midway, with Brian Collin and Howard Shear, S-H-E-R, at the helm. This arcade port, on the other hand, was done after the earlier Atari 7800 arcade port, which I believe was done 88, 89? I think 88. But this one was done in 1990, so it was done after. Bit of a latecomer to the party. It's basically a pretty nice game. It was done in 1990 by Atari Corporation. And, since it came after the Atari 7800 port, some may wonder, why bother to do the Atari VCS 2600 original library arcade port on it? And I thought about that, and I'm like, I can't speak for Atari themselves necessarily, but there is, say, the Atari 7800 being a backwards compatible hardware clone of the Atari VCS 2600, which they would have already known how to do games for both. Well, there's that. So it wouldn't have been a big jump, and then you'd have a large, supposedly, user install base of gamer owner users, some who may have moved on to other consoles which had come out, or to home computers since the Atari VCS 2600, but you presumably still would have had plenty who may have bought a copy, potentially. And although, obviously, the Atari VCS 2600 port would be probably retailing at a somewhat lower suggested retail price than the Atari 7800 port, it would still give Atari Corporation something of a buffer, but a little bit of smaller profits coming back for whoever did buy this one. And really, the two games are, they're not exactly alike, but they're very similar in many ways, as we're going to see possibly here. Anyone who'd watched my review video of the Atari 7800 Xenophobe arcade port would probably find this that, it's they have a lot of similarities. Anyway, I'd also like to comment kind of on, how the name Xenophobe is kind of interesting, as in common parlance, it usually means someone who is afraid of, dislikes, or hateful of people from other countries, other nations. Though in this case, it's meant to be because of the xenophobe aliens that you're fighting in the game. Look at that monstrosity on the cover. And that's just of the game manual. So anyway, Xenophobe here is meant to be more than likely that these guys have a very big dislike and hatred, if not fear, of the xenophobe aliens that they've been sent to exterminate. That's basically the story, which is you're part of a group, one member, who's been sent to exterminate infestations by these xenophobe aliens of many space stations in our Earth solar system, and use a transport disc to get there, and you have to try to wipe them all out before time runs out, and the station ends up having to be self-destructed. Anyway, it's pretty cool in most regards. Here we have the box. It's pretty nice. Anybody who might have seen my unboxing video, I think a little over a year ago, would know I actually got this CIB complete in box, though as you can see it's been opened. Hey, I'm gonna play the game. I don't buy them just to let them sit there in the collection and look pretty, so. And I have to do it if I'm going to review it. How else am I going to do this? Anyway, I believe I got, not sure if it was an eBay or an Amazon.com purchase, but it was still CIB, new. We can see the xenophobe alien here, pretty mean looking. The box itself has a little bit of an impression here, but that will happen given a little time. A little bit of small tear in the cellophane here in front. The wrapper. Another one over here, I think. Or no, that came from something that got spilled on it. Otherwise, it's still in pretty good shape, and on the back it gives you a little bit of a description and some images of what the gameplay looks like. Obviously, they probably copied some of the information from the Atari 7800 port, as it says some misleading things here, such as that, that you have 9 space stations to clear. In this one, it's actually 8. Kind of like the Nintendo, 3rd generation Nintendo NES port, which some others would probably be much more familiar with. And it also says, for 1 or 2 players, and you can play, allows 2 players to work together. Well, actually, the 2-player multiplayer gameplay in this one is turn-based. You have to wait for the second player after you get through a level to get caught up, so. And it says, for the Atari 2600 and 7800 systems with joysticks controllers. Well, this is VCS 2600 port specifically, but would play in your 7800, so it's not entirely misleading. So it says back on here, copyright 1987 Bally Midway and copyright 1990 Atari Corporation. And of course here we have again the manual, which is, these really are some of the meaner looking aliens that they could have put on this thing. At least it's, might look a little scary to little kids. I think I was a little bit intimidated by that image when I was younger, because I did see it some places. As a matter of fact, one of my memories from being younger when I was about 4 was, we had a small arcade in a town square, and I remember, I forgot to mention in the Atari 7800 port video, but I remember back then being fascinated, though I wasn't really taught to be afraid, but I was kind of creeped out, even though I didn't know what an extraterrestrial alien or anything was yet. I just knew it kind of gave me the creeps, the heebie-jeebies, but I did find it fascinating and wanted to play it, so I'd sit there, wait my turn, and try to play it. And I'd have nightmares for a good week after, playing on the arcade cabinet original at the arcade. But still, it was one of those games that kind of drew me to it, though I couldn't have told you why. Anyway, here's the manual. Here it says the 2600 game manual on front. And then, second page, we've got some, those little messages from Atari and table of contents. It gets in and tells you about what's going on, like I did the alien attack. Tells you about getting started and what your basic controls are. Then, of course, it gets into playing the game. And then here it tells you a little bit about the space stations, which is, here, like I said, it's like the Nintendo NES port, as opposed to the 7800 port, has 8 different space stations before you would loop back around. Space Station 1 has 1 level, 2 has 2, 3 has 3 levels or decks. Number 4 has 4, 5 has 3, 6 has 2, 7 has 3, and 8 has 4. Then it tells you about, finishing a mission, and then destroying the aliens. It tells you to destroy a critter alien requires 1 unit of force, a pod 2 units of force, a tentacle 4 units of force, a roller baby 4 units of force, and for a snotter pillar 15 units of force. Then it tells you about collecting hardware, weapons, danger to the player, which tells you about how you can lose points, health points and all, which is an attack by a critter will cost you 2 units per second. A hit by a tentacle will be 4 units per second. An attack by a roller baby is up to 8 units per second. A hit by a rolling alien is 50 units. Hit by a splim, from a starter pillar obviously, would be 75 units. And from a leaping alien, which could be probably either a roller baby or a starter pillar, would be 150 units. Then it goes over strategy, and finally we get into scoring, which we do need to know some about. Basically, for killing aliens, for killing a tentacle, you get 125 points. A snotter pillar is worth 100 points, a roller baby 75, a critter 50, and a pod 25. And then picking up weapons, you get 500 points for picking up a grenade, 400 for a poofer gun, 300 for a lightning rifle, 200 for a laser pistol, and 10 for a phaser. Which your phaser is basically your the one you start with and the weakest. Then picking up valuable hardware. It's 500 points for everything: clipboard, transmitter, skull, can, screwdriver, and knife. That's 500 for all of them, while picking up a rope will get you 250. And for health points, picking up a burger will get you 50 points back, and a flask will get you 50. Then, of course, there's the back here, which is pretty simple. Altogether, we're looking at about 11 pages front to back, I guess. Anyway, there's that with the manual and all, and let me get this back in here real quick. Then finally we have my cartridge, which is pretty nice looking. Says Xenophobe Atari VCS Atari 2600 here. Says it's CA400064-172. Yikes. Yeah, it was one of the later release games. Some gamers might not have even known this came out back then, even though they might have been interested if they did. Again, we have our image of the alien, and it's pretty good looking. Anyway, I've already talked for over 11 and a half minutes here, so I'm going to fire this up with my Hyperkin Retron 77 emulation hardware clone console, which it does play with. And we're going to take a look into some gameplay. Okay, so here we go with Xenophobe for the Atari VCS 2600. There we go, 1987 Valley, 1990 Atari. One player. You can also pick, presumably two-player, but, hang on. Just want to be finicky with me on my controls by a bit. I got it worked out now. There we go. That first one there, those are the critters, and they will latch onto your leg, kind of like the facehuggers in the Alien franchise, which is kind of what this whole thing is kind of a rip-off of, I guess you could say. That's a pod. I've only got my phaser pistol now, so it's going to take a bit to kill these guys. Here's our first room that has another new gun for us. I'll read him pretty quick. You want to grab that and get the new one pretty quick and then move on, because they will come for you pretty quick. Only takes 2 to scam with that one. Darn. That's a snotter pillar type. I better move before she manages to... Enough hits and it will take that away from you, and you don't want to be back on just a phaser. If you can avoid it. Okay, it says I cleared the base even though I didn't kill everything. 12 killed. Apparently you mostly just have to kill most of the bigger ones, or up to a certain number, and it says you cleared the base and lets you move on. Health bonus, yeah, gives you about 200. And awards you 300 for every Xenophobe alien killed if you manage to clear it. Not to mention also for the hardware you manage to collect. I tend to prefer a little bit more to go left to right. To go right to left, because it's just a bit easier. I'll wait until I clear the floor before coming back. It started us out on number 2. So. Get rid of one more critter type. And those, of course, right there is the roller baby type, the one that does like that rolls up on me. They can be a pain. Of course, you don't have to stick around and fight them all the time either, though. I think it's the same guy that I got. Going to move along before they manage to cause me any further harm that I don't need. Pretty much the only thing that's going to do anything to them while they're in their rolled up form is a grenade, and I don't have one yet. Another critter type. Here's a grenade. And I missed. That was apparently a disc that I just picked up. Health flask. She's got a good chance of killing me if I don't move along, and she also managed to disarm me. That spit attack of hers will do that to you. Oh, and when you're at the elevators, just press up to go up or down. To call the elevator, then you press up or down once you're in it. Pretty simple. Stop trying to latch onto me, you stupid thing. The next little weapon here. Come on. Give me that easy. Forget what that is, but okay, now we can actually do some killing with it. Oh! Hit the game over 2. Well, we have a little time to give it one more go, so I'll see if I can't do a bit better. Without me talking as much, should be a little bit easier. Okay, there's that health flask type thing. Don't really need yet, but why not? Oh, also you can see what they're doing there, you know, that little critter just basically evolved up into a higher form, to a Snotterpillar, and that's one thing they can and will do sometimes. They can literally switch their forms up to a higher one. You know, I prefer to go left. Just a bit easier going left than going right. To me, anyway. Bye. Get out of my way. Okay, that was a bit better. Not taking this fight. That's just... haven't had that happen too often before. I'll give it one more little try to see what I can do with it though. I've actually gotten all the way out to like Station 5, I think. Not always easy to do. You want to go ahead and grab this pretty darn quick, really. I'll get rid of two of them. Hey, I'm near my weapon. I'll get rid of her. So that first part right there can be kind of tricky because you've got to try to get that better weapon, and then even after you do, they still don't give you breaks, so it's tough to make any progress here. I got rid of her. Got me out of there. There are 3,600 points awarded. Not bad. Health bonus. Not a great deal of health bonus, but it'll do. Usually it's only 200. Come on. Time to play this slow. Well, I need to be able to bend down. Control's giving me a headache here. Thank you. Sometimes Hypergame Retro on 77 does want to be a pain about that, you know. It's not too bad about giving me finicky controls on things, but sometimes. One critter down. Again. Thinks I'm not sticking around for that fight. More valuable hardware. Think a disc on that one. Ugh. Jump straight into the tentacle without meaning to. They just keep coming for the most part. I'm not sticking around for that neither. Go up to 1. Thinking about it, I probably should have done this first since the better gun is up here anyway. And again. Well, that's basically I'm going to give you guys with the game plan. I think you get the idea. I can usually do a bit better, but for some reason it's just giving me too much of a hard time this time around. And there's only one difficulty setting, so can't do much about it. Okay, so that was Xenophobe. An original library arcade port for the Atari VCS 2600. Is it pretty good? Generally speaking. Unfortunately, it didn't give me an easy time this time, and my gameplay pretty well stunk. Though once you get into a groove with it, it's not so difficult, you know. I probably should have thought again on that second level to go down to the first deck, or first level of that one, and grab that better gun first. That kind of helped me up. Again, I've gotten all the way up to at least Space Station 5 on it, I think. So it's perfectly workable and playable, just like the 7800 port. And it's actually, as my friend and colleague, the No Square Gamer, Phil as I know him, said in his review video of it, it's actually a fairly impressive game to be done on the Atari VCS 2600. Though being done pretty late in its main retail life, you know, 1990... Well, no big surprise by then they'd figured out how to do things a fair deal better, and that this would have still seemed fairly impressive, but not as big of a surprise. Anyway, I think it's pretty good generally speaking. Maybe we'll get into it better a bit later. I do have a few recommendations and links for you guys. The first one is for Atari Man 71. He has a pretty good one. It's the first out of 3 he reviews in this video. Then there's the Atari 2600 channel. The Dot Eaters, they didn't have a very good opinion of this particular port of the game, and I can see it's a bit tougher than even the Atari 7800 port in some ways, so... But I still like it pretty much myself. And then there's High Retro Game Lord, and finally Phil with his channel, the No Square Gamer himself. Anyway, I will go ahead and leave links for you guys... to all those for you guys, as well as leaving a link to the Wikipedia article for any who may care to read up further on the game. Let's see, I should have my channel's homebrew, pro-brew, or prototype review coming up next Sunday. I'll put up an announcement post, so keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, I love you guys over at my Atari 2600 Facebook group, and y'all should hopefully be getting this video before too terribly long. And otherwise, if you enjoy my channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comment section below. You guys take care, have a wonderful Wednesday, and hopefully I will see you again on this coming Sunday.